I've always been fascinated by the River Thames. It runs right through the place where I was born, London, where my family have lived for 300 years. Now I'm going to get to know it even more intimately to find out what makes this one of the greatest rivers in the world. I'm walking the Thames Path, meeting the people whose lives revolve around the river. Get out of the way.
It's only 700 tonne coming at you.
This is what we call liquid history.
And I'm discovering how the Thames built Britain. Oh, that's top. That is so exciting. Love the idea that they all sailed here with their plants. Money, money, money everywhere.
If we didn't get the buzz down there, we wouldn't be there in the first place.
The bridge is coming down.
The bridge is coming down! The third leg of my journey along the Thames is a short stretch, barely 8 miles, but it packs a punch like no other. Because I'm walking through the heart of the capital. This river highway has made London what it is today. Without it, none of this would exist, and London simply wouldn't be here. It's the river that has made London the global powerhouse it is today. Through London, the Thames Path runs along the north and south sides of the river, which allows me free rein to explore, from Chelsea to Bankside, and from the City of London to Tower Bridge. London's economy is growing at twice the rate of the rest of the country, and the Thames is a vital artery, with around 4 million tonnes of freight shipped on it each year. So I'm going to start with a trip upriver through central London on one of the working ships. This is the Polar Rose. She's one of the largest ships on the river that's low enough to be able to get under all of London's bridges, and she's able to carry around about 700 tonnes. The Thames in London is tidal, and the Polar Rose needs to travel on the rising tide. I can't keep skipper Harry Hammond hanging around. Hi, Harry.
How you doing, Tony?
All right, mate.
Done the VTS, Polar Rose, Surrey entrance in about.
What are we carrying today?
Limestone and sand for cement pours, building contracts, flats and things like that.
Ships don't just service property development. Big infrastructure projects like Crossrail and the Tideway sewer increasingly turn to river transport for their heavy loads, and the Thames is the UK's busiest inland waterway. Why do you think businesses use the Thames so much to transport their materials?
It's definitely a quicker way and it's environmentally friendly.
Yeah.
You think a lorry is between 16 and 18 tonne and we can carry 700 tonne.
So there's an awful lot of lorries worth of
material. It's a hell of a lot of lorries off the road.
In fact, it amounts to 340,000 lorries a year. Right, this is Tower Bridge.
The gateway to London.
Yeah. The rise and fall of the tidal Thames can be as much as 23 feet. Harry has to judge his journeys so the ship can squeeze under bridges at high tide but avoid running aground at low tide. It helps that he practically has the Thames running through his veins. How long have you been on the boats, Harry?
I've been on a boat since 2002. I was apprenticed by my stepfather.
You must have been a little boy then.
I was 16 years old. And then I became a tug skipper at the age of 19 and a half. I apprenticed my little brother. He's now a captain now.
How far back does your family's association with the river go?
I believe my family goes back just under 300 years.
Harry's learnt to navigate all that the river can throw at him.
You can just see a little sort of crack as London Bridge starts to go down.
Yep.
Right, well basically that's where I'm heading for, so I'm not directly going for the centre of the bridge. That is because when I'm directly underneath that, I'm aiming for the centre arch at Cannon Street Railway Bridge. So that just gives me a clear eye.
Oh, it does feel low, doesn't it? Do you ever have to worry about scraping the lid on the bottom of the bridge?
Yeah, definitely. We work on a metre underkill clearance and a metre overhead clearance. And if I scrape on the bottom or I scrape on the top, then there'll be fines to pay.
500 years ago, London's streets were so congested, the river made a perfect alternative highway. These days, it still makes sense as a highway, though it's not for the inexperienced.
The traffic up here nowadays is very, very busy. It's not like a car, you can just use a brake and stop.
Sure.
Obviously, you're carrying weight.
Get out of the way.
It's only 700 tonne coming at you.
Harry's delivering to the Cemex ready-mix concrete plant in Fulham. From here, trucks supply building sites all over West London.
Come forward a bit, Harry. Say that in nice and tight, please, Jim.
Oh, you've come in beautifully, haven't you?
Practice makes perfect.
Unloading is surprisingly quick. It has to be.
We've only got a limited amount of time before the tide turns and we lose water. Half hour too late, it could jeopardise us from getting off the berth in time.
I suppose there's part of me that still thinks that the river is really a rather old-fashioned way of delivering material. But you and I, we've crossed London in, what, 40 minutes?
Yeah.
700 tonnes of stuff gets here, whipped off, straight onto the conveyor belts, onto the lorries, bush, bosh, bash, it's gone to 1,000 places. See ya.
Take care, Tony.
Cheers, thanks a lot.
Thank you very much.
Picking up the Thames path at Fulham, a brisk walk brings me to Chelsea Embankment. In the 19th century, the River Thames was essentially a big open sewer full of excrement, rotting carcasses and chemicals from the various factories. You can imagine the kind of whiff that came off it. It wasn't just whiffy, it was a danger to health. Right next to the river is Chelsea Physic Garden, where they've been researching the health-giving benefits of plants since 1673. In that year, long before the embankment was built, the Worshipful Society of Apothecaries moved their garden here to make it easy to take delivery of plants brought to them by boat from all over the globe. Look at this. Isn't it lovely? The apothecaries were the pharmacists of the past. Hi, Michael.
Hi, welcome to the garden.
Thank you. Botanical expert Michael Holland is my guide to what they created. What kind of plants do you have here?
There's approximately 5,000 species of plants from all around the world.
Yeah.
Plants from South America, South Africa, and lots of medicinal plants.
So was it significant that this garden was so close to the river?
Well, absolutely, because there were no paved roads in this area at the time, and the original users of the garden, the apothecaries, would have used the river to then go out into the countryside even further and go on field trips.
From the 1700s, sailing ships brought back plant specimens to the garden from increasingly exotic locations.
Botanists such as Joseph Banks, who then went on to form Kew Gardens. He was the botanist on Captain Cook's Endeavour, and they brought all kinds of stuff in various plants back from faraway lands.
I love the idea that they all sailed here with their plants and brought them ashore. Why was it created?
Originally, the garden was really a place where people could learn how to heal people using plants. So very much an outdoor medical school.
For centuries, bad smells were believed to spread disease. In the 1600s, people carried fragrant herbs like marjoram and thyme in little bags in the belief it would keep bugs at bay. Oh, it is a lovely smell, isn't it?
Certainly is. But the people who were worst at risk were the doctors. And in the times of the plague, they'd keep herbs in a special plague mask.
You get these in all those plays and films about the Black Death, don't you?
Now, if I was on my deathbed and a doctor with one of these on came into the room, I don't know if it'd feel much better, to be honest.
It does smell nice, though. The Physic Garden was an early adopter of glass houses, enabling it to grow the tropical tree whose bark contains quinine. Nowadays, quinine's best known for the tang it gives to tonic water, but it started out as a treatment for malaria. It is very, very bitter, isn't it?
It is. During the First and Second World War in Southeast Asia and India, soldiers were given it with a little bit of soda water, sugar, and a little bit of gin to incentivise their taking their medicine.
So that is how we got gin and tonic?
Allegedly, that's the story, yeah.
Quinine was effective in treating malaria, but back in the 1770s, the Physic Gardens apothecaries witnessed a medical practice that was altogether more dubious. Right, you've given me a bellows and a bit of rubber hosing. What's this all about?
Well, once upon a time, bellows like this would have hung all the way along the side of the Thames, and if someone had fallen in the Thames and inhaled water, it was a way of kind of reviving them.
How?
It was all linked to this plant here, Nicotiana tabacum, smoking tobacco.
So people used to smoke through this?
It was actually for a kind of a smoke enema.
Why would you have a smoke enema? How bizarre.
Apparently, yeah.
Because people thought that tobacco was what?
Medicinal of some sort, reviving.
Like a shot of adrenaline? Mm-hmm. So someone blows some tobacco into here. This presumably would not go in the mouth.
Correct.
In the bottom.
Absolutely.
Pump, 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 pump.
Yep.
Whoa, I'm feeling better.
Exactly.
That's as near as you're going to get to a demonstration of this. Coming up, evidence of the South Bank's bawdy past. Whoa, I have actually found something. Ta-da! And the marvel that made London in miniature. Oh, Katie, this is beautiful. I love this sort of thing. I'm following the River Thames, walking through the heart of the capital. The Thames has been the lifeblood of London ever since the Romans set up camp here in AD 43 and created the town of Londinium. Ever since then, it's been this side of the river that's dominated the capital and the country. The Houses of Parliament, Whitehall, 10 Downing Street, all on the north side. This is where political power was established. And from Waterloo Bridge, you see how the river divides the capital in more ways than one. Over there in the north, you've got virtually all the wealthy, posh houses. In the Middle Ages, that was the City of London, and very respectable it was too. If you wanted to go in for some more nefarious practices, gambling dens, brothels, theatres, then you had to cross over to the unkempt, marshy south side. And you'll never guess where I'm going. To this day, the establishment dominates the north, but on the South Bank, it's still about entertainment, from highbrow culture to street performance. Oh, yeah? Some is actually inspired by the Thames. Relax as our river runs on arterial, the original roadway. Thank you.
Thank you.
500 years ago, the South Bank offered theatres like the Globe and the Rose. Or there was bear baiting or cockfighting. Not to mention the pleasures of the flesh. Just like everyone else, the revellers chucked their rubbish away, often into the Thames. The Port of London authorities given me permission to go and look for some of it. I've got a permit. It's only for one day, and it's not an Oyster card or a fishing permit. I'm going mudlarking. Twice a day at low tide, the exposed banks of the Thames yield up the rubbish of the past. Here at Bankside, it's often what was thrown away during those bawdy nights on the town. Mudlarks are permit holders who scour the foreshore for the evidence. Hi, Nicola.
Hi, Tony.
Hiya. And Nicola White is one of them. It's extraordinary, isn't it? You've got the hurly-burly of London all around us, and this is a completely different world.
Yes, it is, and it's very, very peaceful and calm down here, but you're surrounded with the history of London.
Nicola, from the Society of London Mudlarks, has been doing this for 15 years. Now, what am I looking for?
You need to get your eye in and get right down close and have a look around. And I've started to find lots and lots of tiny pins.
Oh, let's have a look.
And they're beautiful. They're handmade, and we find a lot of pins on the Thames foreshore dating right back to the 14th century.
Before there were buttons and safety pins, most people did actually pin their clothes onto themselves, didn't they?
That's right, and I love to imagine, especially around here on Bankside where the brothels were close by, I love to imagine the prostitutes coming back from a night at the West End with the pins popping out of their bodices and ending up down here on the foreshore.
Well, that's a bit of history I didn't know much about. Fresh items are revealed on the foreshore all the time as the river erodes the mud. And because the mud contains no oxygen, things buried in it are beautifully preserved. Whoa! I have actually found something.
Oh.
A genuine find. Look at this. Ta-da!
Oh wow, a pipe!
Yes. Could you date that, do you reckon?
Well, I'd say that that's going to be the 1700s. People used to smoke them once or twice and then dispose of them.
I suppose really it's just like chucking a fag end into the river, isn't it?
It is. They're like old-fashioned cigarette butts, definitely.
In the 18th and 19th centuries, mudlarking wasn't about digging up history. The original mudlarks were scavengers, the poorest of the poor, desperately trying to make a living.
They used to be often seen wandering around in the mud up to their knees, children and old ladies, and they would look for anything really, like pieces of coal, bits of rope, bits of copper, nails, anything that they could sell for a bob or two.
Yeah. Hey, I got something.
Ah,
An oyster shell.
actually on this part of the foreshore you will find a lot of oyster shells, again, the favourite snack for people going to the theatre.
They were so cheap, weren't they?
They were the poor man's food for years and years, right up to Victorian times.
In the last 30 years, the foreshore has yielded over 90,000 objects worthy of a place in the Museum of London. Nicola's brought along two of her finds she's been able to keep.
This is my star find, which I love. It's a Queen Elizabeth I, half a crown. And of course, she used to come here a lot to watch the bear baiting, so I've heard. And then this is my little Roman ear scoop.
Ear scoop? What does it do?
Put it in your ear and scoop the
Get
wax,
the wax
out.
That's very charming and yet slightly disgusting. The tide will soon cover the foreshore again, but luck's on our side for one final find.
Oh, no. That's interesting because it's a piece of pipe stem, but it actually has a name on the side. And in about 1860, they started to put their name on one side of the pipe and where they made it on the other.
The name on the side of this one's got me intrigued. Do you know, I think this is C.S. Parnell, MP.
Right.
That would be Charles Stewart Parnell, the Irish politician. He's really famous. Oh, that's top. That is so exciting. Parnell was born in 1846 and became a prominent Irish nationalist in the 1880s. He entered the House of Commons in 1875, leader of the Home Rule League in 1880. That goes really nicely with your date of 1860. I wonder whether that actually belonged to him or whether, like, you might put I Love Elvis on the T-shirt.
Exactly. Very, very possibly.
That is so good. From Bankside, it's less than a mile to the heart of Southwark, an area that was once associated with prisons and factories and is now transformed, most strikingly by London's newest riverside icon, the Shard. Phew. You can really see how London knits together from up here, can't you? From the 72nd floor, the city's relationship to the river and its bridges is really clear. Mind you, the view comes at a price. It cost getting on for £1.5 billion to build the Shard. The exterior has 8 sloping glass facades, or shards, consisting of 11,000 glass panels. Just like the church spires of medieval England, it dominates London's skyline. It's big, it's bold, it's powerful. It's the tallest building in Western Europe, and it says to the world that even after the financial crash, London has still got plenty of economic muscle. Blah. Opposite the Shard, on the north side of the river, is the City of London, the famous square mile that generates so much of that economic muscle. Only 8,000 people live there, but over 400,000 commute into it, many of them streaming across London Bridge every day. This part of London has always been its financial hub. But how come the hub is here and not there, or there, or there, or there, or there, or anywhere else? Well, the answer is disarmingly simple. It's because the Thames used to be so shallow here. So this is where they built the bridge. For centuries, it was the only bridge across the Thames, and so that's where the people went, and that's where the trade went. And it still does today. I'm going to take a closer look at the crossing point that is London Bridge. This part of the river is dripping with history. The first London Bridge was built by the Romans, and it was that bridge more than anything else which was the spur to allowing London to grow and prosper. All that was 2,000 years ago, of course, and there have been lots of London bridges since then, including this modern, slightly brutalist one. The current bridge was completed in 1972, but that Roman bridge dates back to about 50 AD. It was an upgrade from the wooden pontoon that was probably the first structure spanning the river. The bridge that lasted best, with some pretty major repairs, was completed in 1209 and lasted 622 years. Its base was just about where that church is that you can see between those office blocks. And that's where I'm going right now. I've come to the Church of St Magnus the Martyr in the City of London to meet Katie Wignall, an expert London guide. Hi, Katie.
Hi.
I'm looking for the old London Bridge.
You've come to the right place. This is actually part of the old London Bridge.
Oh, it was made of stone, the medieval one, was it?
Exactly. Well, parts of it were made of stone,
Yeah.
other bits in wood.
And what did it look like?
Oh, well, I can show you. Just come in here.
Inside is an exquisite model of how the bridge would have been. Oh, Katie, this is beautiful. I love this sort of thing.
Yeah, it is absolutely incredible. What it shows is London Bridge around the 15th century. So we've got the City of London over to that side, and then Southwark down this one.
I suppose the thing that is most obvious about it is that there are houses all the way along it. How come?
Bridges were pretty expensive, and so allowing people to purchase and pay rent for houses meant that they could get back some of the money.
For 1,700 years, there was only the one bridge across the Thames in London. By medieval times, the location had also made it a prime piece of real estate. The houses had shops on the ground floor and living accommodation above. By the mid-14th century, there were already 138 premises on the bridge.
Not only were wealthy merchants stationed on the bridge, but also the amount of money being paid as people crossed the bridge. You would have to pay a toll. So all of this money was being gathered up.
But how did the big boats get through?
Well, you had this building here, which had a drawbridge, so any tall masts could make their way through there.
Look at all this mayhem that's going on.
Yeah, we think about places maybe like Oxford Street being really busy now. They have nothing on London Bridge. It would take you, some say, about an hour just to walk the length of it.
I'm not surprised.
The model comprises about 900 different little figures, and you can see some sheep being taken across, tradesmen coming with their carts. So here you've got some knights on horses, and I love the detail of these people leaning out, looking at what's going on, all the hubbub of London Bridge.
Is it true that London Bridge fell down?
There were many London bridges, and many of them fell down, so we don't know exactly what that nursery rhyme points to.
Oh, it must be this bridge, surely.
Surely you'd think so, wouldn't you?
Coming up,
What does that mean?
I learn the lingo of the city's money men.
Big pointing up, offer pointing down.
Yeah. And meet the tourists getting to know the river.
It's the first time on the Thames, really.
The Thames.
Isn't that the way to say it?
The Thames. I'm walking the River Thames through the capital, and I've reached the city of London. So many of the street names around here give you an echo of the one commodity that made London rich in the 1300s and 1400s, wool. It came down the Thames from its upper reaches, arrived in London, and ka-ching, fortunes were made. It wasn't just domestic trade. Woolen cloth was England's main export, and there was a big import trade in goods such as silk and linen. Money, 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 money everywhere around here. It was the river that brought trade to London, and the trade spawned banking, insurance, foreign exchange, bond trading, all the things that made London the global financial powerhouse it is today. Nowadays, the City of London generates nearly £50 billion a year, about 3% of the UK's national income. That is the Bank of England, founded in 1694, and somewhere in its vaults are over 400,000 gold bars, more than almost anywhere else in the entire world. Right next to it is the Royal Exchange. Merchants and traders would have been haggling and doing their business here every day. There was face-to-face trading at the Royal Exchange from the 16th to the late 20th century. But now there's only one place left to see traditional dealing. To get up close and personal with it, you need special permission. And to look the part. No suit, you get chucked out. And I've been told that the last person who got this kind of access was the President of Chile. So, I always do that. The front bit shorter than the long bit. Start again. I'm visiting the London Metal Exchange, London's last remaining trading floor where dealers haggle eyeball to eyeball instead of electronically. In fact, it's the last one in Europe. It was founded in 1877, but has its roots in the 1570s. Each metal is traded in one frenetic 5-minute session.
That bell signals the start of zinc.
Peter Childs is the head of trading operations. Why do you still trade in this way? I would have thought you could have done exactly the same thing by email.
In terms of face-to-face dealing, eyeball-to-eyeball contact, there's nowhere to hide, you know. For the dealers in the ring, it's open, it's transparent, it's serious money going across that floor.
13.5 offered to June.
And what about the guys behind them? What are they doing?
The guys behind them, they're the clerks. They're recording the deals that the dealers in the ring are doing, and they're also relaying orders to the dealers in the ring. And the people around the outside on the telephones, they're getting orders from their clients. Those clients could be anywhere in the world, and the dealers will execute the orders at the best price available in the ring.
Within this 5 minutes, how much money do you think is going to change hands?
It's hard to estimate, but if I can give you an indication, on an annual basis, the LME generates around $12.7 trillion worth of business.
That's about £9.5 trillion, 4 times the size of the UK economy. What does that mean? Well, the guy in the blue suit.
Yeah, he's showing the market is 20,850 bid. 8 is 5 digits plus 3. 1, 2, 3. That's 8. 850 is a little wiggle of the fingers. Bid pointing up, offer pointing down.
Yeah. They do enjoy it, don't they? You can see that too.
It is. I mean, if we didn't get the buzz down there, we wouldn't be there in the first place.
Yeah. I hope you don't mind me asking, but you were actually quite quiet for a lot of it, and then suddenly you leapt to your feet and were really, really energised. What was going on?
So, basically, another ring trader offered it at a price which seemed relatively cheap.
Yeah.
And because it was so cheap, everyone wanted to buy it. However, we only got 5 lots. So.
Well, you got something out of it. Yeah. And
Not
thanks
enough.
for living.
It's never enough.
Yeah, cheers, mate.
No problem.
OK, follow me, Tony.
For the next session, I've got a ringside seat
So, you like to sit there?
and a fear of accidentally bidding billions.
So
Sitting
this
on
is-
my hands.
Yeah, exactly. So this is aluminium. This is our largest contract. There we are. So it's $2,315 bid. Here's a buyer over there. There's a bid in the market now at $2,320. 25 bid, 28 offered.
14 types of metals are traded in sessions that run virtually non-stop for 5 hours a day.
27 and a half bid, 27 trading. And it's $2,327 per tonne. That's the close of aluminium today.
There is something about it that seems about 400 or 500 years old. It's just that round the sides you've got the telephones and the laptops and the messages to the other side of the world, but basically in the middle this is old style. I would love to do this, I really would. If I wasn't making documentaries and acting, this is what I would be doing. Leaving my inner dealer behind, I'm making my way back to the Thames near Tower Bridge. The river spawned the City of London. Now it's the mainstay of a newer industry. Along London's riverside, tourism generates around 100,000 jobs and nearly £2.5 billion a year. The Thames Clipper River bus takes in the iconic sights that bring the tourists here, and all for under £7. I'm travelling with first mate Colin Wilcox. How long have you worked here, Colin?
I'm into my 44th year now, and it is the only way to travel.
From Tower Bridge and St Paul's Cathedral to the Houses of Parliament, these are the layers of London's past, all proudly on display. It's like the historic London journey above all others.
This is what we call liquid history. That's why you get so many tourists.
You give them a bit of historical spiel, do you?
But, you know, it's part of my job. They don't know when the Tower of London was built, 1078. And they certainly don't know who the last 2 people imprisoned in the Tower of London and not executed were. Do you know?
I haven't a clue.
Ronald and Reginald Cray.
They were in the tower?
Yes, they were. Yeah.
I'm surprised we've still got the crown jewels.
Yeah, they may be fake. They could be in Bethnal Green.
How do you feel about the river?
Goodbye, thank you. Bye-bye. It's a passion. It's in your blood. Early mornings, 5 o'clock, it's silent. The river's like a sheet of glass. It's just a lovely place to be. Yeah, I knew I'd get a smile. Yeah.
The Thames Clipper boats cover 17 miles of the river in central London. Since 1999, the fleet has gone from 1 boat to 17, carrying over 4 million passengers a year. What's the proportion of tourists to commuters?
I'd say probably 70% tourists, 30% commuters. Yeah. They know they can have a drink at the bar and have a bit of banter with the crew.
Time to meet some of today's passengers. Is your first time on the boat?
No, it's not. I commute most days of the week because it's more relaxed. It's better than getting on the tubes, the underground.
It's the first time on the Thames, really.
First time on the what?
On the Thames?
The Thames.
Isn't that the way to say it?
The Thames.
Thames?
Why did you decide to come on this boat?
A little bit different than riding a tour bus.
Yeah.
You've got to be able to see it from a different perspective, right?
Well, enjoy your trip on the Thames.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
I'm not getting a completely free ride today. I've been asked to put the old drama school training to good use. The next stop is Embankment Pier. Please disembark at the back of the boat. And don't forget your valuables. I made that last bit up. Coming up...
Nervous?
Cool as a cucumber. An engineering job that could be a bridge too far.
The bridge is coming down!
I'm following the River Thames, and my final stop in central London is the place that really put Britain on the map as a trading nation, Tower Bridge. This area of water here and over here are jointly known as the Pool of London. And until the 19th century, when they built the big docks over to the east, this was where all the ships moored and were checked by customs. So as you can imagine, there are a lot of ships. The waters in the pool were still and deep, making them ideal for mooring. Ships brought in anything from Canadian furs to silks and spices from the East Indies. With the Industrial Revolution and the expansion of the British Empire, this became the busiest section of river in the world. By the 19th century, it was so rammed and there were so many goods being generated here that they had to find a way of getting all the traffic from the north side of the river to the south. But at the same time, they had to make sure that the high-masted ships could still continue to go to and fro. And that is why they built this right across the Pool of London. When it opened in 1894, Tower Bridge was a status symbol, showcasing London's wealth and engineering prowess to the world. Now, 40,000 pedestrians, motorists and cyclists use it every day. That needs rigorous maintenance. And I'm going to lend a hand. Dave?
Tony?
They say I need rigging up.
Yes, you do. Full harness and life jacket.
I'll be working with David Wilson, the bridge's senior technical officer. He seems very concerned for my safety.
2 clips there, join them together.
Do people fall off very often?
No, we've never had anybody fall off yet.
We're going to be working on part of the bascule mechanism. The bascules being the bits that move up and down like a drawbridge.
Life jacket.
So there's clearly the potential to end up in the river.
Now the lifeline. If you do happen to fall, we've got something to stop you. Right. There you go. And that's a loose end.
Let's do this thing!
Yep.
We're making our way to the lower levels of the bridge's south tower.
Not a lot of space down here.
A team of 12 full-time staff have the task of maintaining everything in tip-top condition.
OK.
Yep. From greasing the gears and cogs to servicing the hydraulics that lift the bascules. Whoa, I can see the river. The area we need to work on is only accessible when the bascules are raised for a ship to pass.
You're actually under the bridge now, properly.
Yeah. Suddenly you're in the world of 19th century engineering here.
Yes, you are.
Construction of the bridge took an astonishing 31 million bricks and 2 million rivets.
It's like having your own little Meccano kit.
You'd need a big sitting room. The bascules are raised about 850 times a year to allow tall ships to pass, and operations are coordinated from this control room. The ships pass through free of charge. They just have to give 24 hours notice. Have you any idea how much weight those hydraulics are lifting?
Each bascule weighs 1,200 tonnes. It's quite a lot of weight.
Yeah. I was in a movie with John Wayne. I had a bit part like 100 years ago.
Right.
And in that movie, he actually jumped over the bridge in the car. You've never had anything like that?
We had a bus sometime in the 50s. The bus actually jumped the bridge whilst the bridge was just about to go up. So he put his foot down.
So wow.
He, he had no choice.
I'm so pleased I asked you that question just before the bridge goes in. The ships these days range from tugs to cruise liners. Today, a sail training ship and a yacht are scheduled to pass through, so the control room prepares to clear the bridge of people and traffic.
No.
Sorry, Mike 3, Mike 1.
Mike 3 receiving.
Vessel is on time. I'll start raising the bridge.
Yeah, understood. Right, it is going to be basically all systems go now.
We've got less than 7 minutes while the bascules are raised to get into position, do our work and get out again.
Nervous?
Cool as a cucumber. The pressure's on to move fast, so huge traffic jams don't build up.
Right, we've started the bridge lift.
That feels weird. It feels as though we're tipping over backwards, doesn't it?
But it is a bit disconcerting.
Yeah.
All unlocked, ready to go.
We go down where?
We go down this ladder here.
Oh, blimey.
We're going to make a move now.
Oh, my God.
OK, that's it.
So I put it over.
Yeah, and now get your feet onto the rungs. That's it. OK. Now, you need to unhook. That's it. Now bring yourself down. OK. I think you're safe.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Oh. Hey, up! Hey! I'm holding on tight. I'm only waving with one hand. Although every effort's made not to disrupt traffic, ships actually have priority over users of the roadway. Even President Bill Clinton's limo once had to wait for a barge.
I need to be quick as I can now.
Yeah.
Here is a resting block.
Yeah.
We've got these cap screws in the top, and
Yeah.
basically we've got to check and make sure they're tight. So I'm going to let you have a go at that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which way am I going? Anti-clockwise?
Clockwise.
All right. I'm glad I checked. Oh, there is a little bit of give on them.
Yeah.
And what does this box actually do?
It actually holds up the bridge whilst it's in the resting position.
It's got some job, hasn't it?
Yeah. OK, we've only got to check a couple.
What do I do with
You need
this?
to get up now.
OK, understand.
All right, we're going up. Bridge is coming down.
Oh, God. The bridge is coming down.
Right. That's it, and over you go.
One hair-raising clamber later, I'm back on safer ground.
Hey, come on.
Shaken and definitely stirred.
It is awesome, isn't it, being surrounded by all this moving metal.
Oh, yeah, it's great.
Quite an adrenaline rush.
I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Yeah. Phew, let's do it again.
Yeah.
Next time, imagine that ship multiplied by 1,000. How the Thames became a gateway to the world.
I never thought I would be so impressed by a large amount of sugar.
Driving change all the time.
I'm on the top of the world.
And how the river shaped our culture and society.
This was the first police force in Britain. We've got an unexploded bomb. We're going up to have a look at it. Absolutely. Great.